So I'm here today to talk to you about leading with a purpose. This is something that I'm really passionate about. So I'm going to start off with a little bit of a gloom for context about leading with a purpose. So if we look at ourselves in the mirror as a tech sector, there's some kind of scary things happening. So some of the largest tech giants out there are experiencing some negative PR, and some of it's warranted, some of it less. But here's some examples. I think we've heard about the Uber scandals, the sexual harassment scandals, the macho sort of culture leading to the ousting of the founding CEO of the company. There's the Apple situation with Foxconn, which also happened in the last few years, with suicides in their Chinese iPhone manufacturing facilities. And of course, I think we're all pretty aware of the most recent Facebook Cambridge Analytica scandal. And so we're kind of facing a little bit of a challenge in the tech sector where I think this tech sector used to be known for, to kind of generalize or stereotype, a really well-to-do or well-meaning hoodie-wearing developer who's doing great things for the world to like capitalist sharks. And we actually have to, I think, be very conscious of this change. And these are three specific examples, but there's many more. And if you ever watch the show Silicon Valley, with Gavin Belson, at Hooli, that's just meant to be a bit of a joke, but obviously that exaggeration comes from somewhere. And so here's some data points. So this is from Deloitte's Global Millennial Survey. And here's some interesting points that are, again, a little bit scary. So less than 50% of millennials believe business leaders behave ethically. Less than 50% of millennials believe business leaders are committed to helping improve society, and less than 40% of millennials believe business leaders make a positive impact on the world. And when tech businesses are increasingly the engine behind economic growth and news, this is very concerning. So why should we care? Other than the fact that I want to believe we live on a planet with good human beings, here's some data points. So over 80% of millennials would switch brands to one associated with a cause. Over 70% of millennials are not engaged or actively disengaged at work. That's super scary number. And over 70% of millennials who know what their company stands for plan to stay for at least a year. So at least if they know there's a goal or a vision that they can get behind, they will. And so basically what this is saying is that millennials care about who they work for, what that company stands for, and it also influences their buying decisions. So what do we do about this? We have an authentic purpose. So that's what I'm here to talk about, is having a purpose. And so what does that mean? It doesn't mean I want to be a really powerful person and have a lot of people report to me. It doesn't mean I want to go make a lot of money. Those aren't authentic. So if those are your purpose, at some point you will fall astray, as we've seen with some leaders in the past. So you have to find your true purpose. I'll tell you a little bit about my journey through that. So this is from 10 years ago. I applied to Harvard Business School, and this is directly from my admissions submission and my purpose. So I said, with my father's recent passing, I feel the burning desire to ensure that his dreams and values live on within me. So this is basically my driving force. His dream was to start a business. He never had a chance to do that. And so that's something that I wanted to do, was start a business that represented the values my father observed in life, which were commitment to supporting others, open-mindedness, and a sense of civic duty. So I took on a challenge to do that, and that's where we landed today. So as Alex mentioned, I'm leading a company called HiMama, which I co-founded with my partner, Alana Fromi, and here's a little bit about us. So we have three core values. The first one is be a good person, because what's the point otherwise? The world's a really shitty place if we're not. The second one is work hard and win. So I grew up in a small farming community. I grew mushrooms amongst many other things. And so hard work was something that was instilled in me at an early age. But we're also not shy to say we want to win. And a big part of why we want to win leads into our third core value, which is owning positive change. And so if we don't win and we let somebody else beat us, they might not care about that. So they won't care about empowering early childhood educators. They won't care about children's development in the way that we do. So the larger that we can scale our company, the more impact that we can have in the community. And this is a concept that I really believe in terms of business being the driver for social impact, because that's how you get the resources to have such an impact. So in 2007, not in 2017, in 1970, Milton Friedman is a name some of you might know. He's a Nobel laureate economist, and he is one of the biggest proponents of the free market capitalist system, which we mostly follow today. And he was quoted in the New York Times as saying that any company who has like corporate social responsibility goals or spends any resources on that has some type of like a view for like a suicide in their company, because it's a zero-sum game. So if you're spending money on corporate social responsibility, you're taking it away from revenue and profits. And so he saw those two things as different, and you could not achieve one and the other. You had to choose. But in 2019, I think that really has changed, and I'm not going to argue about 1970, but today, absolutely you can do both, and I would argue that you have to. You absolutely have to as a business, and I gave some examples there, and there's more, but we've really taken that to heart at HiMama, and last year in 2018, we became a certified B Corporation, or a benefit corporation, which makes that more official for us. So basically what that means is when we sit in a boardroom, for example, and look at making a decision about something, we're thinking about revenue, we're thinking about profits. Those are important things to think about, but we're also thinking about our community, our team of people, our customers, and the environment when we make decisions, and it leads us, in my opinion, to make the best decision possible for the company. We've also invested a lot in our team and professional growth and culture, and all of these things, Milton Friedman would argue, are taking away from generating revenue and profits, but we've experienced great growth as a business and great success, and our Glassdoor reviews speak to that. We have one of the best ratings in the country because of the amazing culture that we have and the amazing people that we have that are so genuine and authentic, like our business and our business core values. We are on the Startup 50 fastest growing companies. We grew like 650% over the last couple of years that looked at. And we haven't sacrificed quality of our product either. We want to be a company that continues to lead the way in our market on product. And we have one of the highest rated apps in the App Store with over 10,000 reviews from our customers. And so we've experienced phenomenal growth as a social impact business. I'm hoping everybody here can find their authentic purpose and is lucky like me to be able to find it, and has a chance to try to apply it through a business or whatever it is, because it doesn't have to be a business. I'm going to leave you with some recommended reading. So here's 3 books. The first is Give and Take. It talks about givers, matchers, and takers, and it's based on data, and you can learn more by reading the book. It's great. Happiness Equation is about being happy. Tip. Part of it is having a purpose and being authentic as a person. And the last one is Discover Your True North, which is kind of like the go-to book for authentic business leadership, and another one I would highly recommend. Thank you, everybody. Check out these books, and I'll take some questions. Yes, go ahead in the back there.
Hi. Looking around the room, I may be one of your only customers here. I've got a couple boys, and my wife and I love your product, so thank you. Curious about expansion to the U.S. And are you doing direct sales, or is it more of like a demand generation with marketing? How are you like leveraging your investment to that expansion?
Yeah, so currently about 70 to 80% of our customers are in the US, and probably similarly for like new growth of the company and new customer acquisition, probably in that sort of similar range. And it's a combination of sort of digital marketing efforts. We go down to the conferences in person and meet people, which we think is also quite important to get that face time with our potential buyers as well as our customers as well.
Got a question?
Hi, I also am very familiar with your app. Just curious about what you do, say, monthly on a consistent basis to invest in the culture and just keep, what is it that you do consistently, whether it's you or other people or onboarding or anything that comes to mind?
Yeah, so I mean, I think the biggest thing is like really qualitative and subjective in that, you know, we want to, so we're almost 100 people now. And, you know, when we were, we'll call it sub 20 people, it was pretty easy to maintain a culture and lead the culture as a co-founder or a CEO because you're talking to people on your team every day. But now it's about hiring leaders who are going to hire other people that like I might not even meet. And so the most important thing is making sure that those people align really well to your culture. For example, one of the things that we look for and take really seriously is humility when we look for people to join the company. So that's probably the biggest thing. On a monthly basis, well, weekly we do town halls. Like even though we're almost 100 people, we get everybody in one room and just to make sure everybody can see each other and chat. And we are very transparent with information that we share about the company and what's happening. We share everything. But again, the biggest thing is the qualitative things, like just hiring people who really care about the people that they work with. And so, you know, when they go to a one-on-one meeting, it's just not like, you know, what was your targets last week? How'd you do? Like, why didn't you get it? It's more about how was your weekend? You know, how's your partner doing? I remember you were telling me, you know, they were having this challenge or something. Like, they care about the team as human beings, and that's the most important thing.
One last question over here.
So I was going to ask you more about this classification as a B Corp. So I understand that you have two missions, one to make a social impact and a for-profit impact. But aside from that, would this classification as a B Corp serve any other purpose? Like, does it specify an industry that you have both purposes?
No, so it's industry agnostic. There's not too many tech companies out there that are B Corp certified. And so other implications, one thing to know about B Corp is that there's sort of like two different versions of it. In the US, you can be certified as a B Corp, or you can like technically be a B corporation. And I'm probably not explaining exactly right, but they're two different things. And so Etsy is an example of one of the first publicly traded companies that is a B corporation. So that's more involved. But the main implication is really just you are, you know, if you are a corporation, everything is about your fiduciary duty to shareholders and revenue profits. That is your purpose. And this just you include in your articles of incorporation as a company to say there's more to it than that. So you do make it official in your articles of incorporation.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.